Okay, so my name is Rudy Corpus Jr. I'm born and raised in San Francisco, and the organization that I'm the executive director is called United Players.
Tell us about United Players, man. I've seen you guys. What do you guys do?
So, thanks for asking, Brother Dario. United Players is basically, man, a violence prevention organization that we work with kids as young as elementary to adults in the penitentiary, reentry.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Can you tell us more about a little bit more? I know you guys do a couple things here in San Francisco. So tell us about how the organization got started.
Yeah, so UP got started back in October the 8th, 1994 from different youth, different ethnicities. And it started at Balboa High School in 1994 from a big fight that ensued between different ethnicities at Bal, primarily black and Filipino, and then Samoans and Latinos got into it. And all these kids who were into the original fight sat down at a table. You know, I was able to bring them to the table. Me, a dude named Andre Alexander. There was a brother named Leite who was, at Balboa, big Samoan security guard, big, this friend of mine from the hood. All of us hood cats. And we was able to get these guys come to the table. No police, no administration at the time, and the kids came up with all the ideas what they could do to stop the violence. And when we started executing the ideas they wanted to name the group, the club, because they said, man, this is working. People started to learn again. This 94 at Balboa, man, it was off the hook.
Sounds like you got some roots here in the Bay, in the city.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? I know Frisco. I used to go up to Bow. I went up to Bow. You know what I mean? And so during that time in 94, you had rapping groups called GLP, Get Low Players, Playaz. You had Forte and the Players Club. And so when this started working, this group, and we started executing all the ideas they wanted, they said, we should name this a club. I said, all right, what you want to name it? And we started putting words on the board with all the kids who was in the funk, right? We started naming different names, putting it on a chalkboard, and there was a dude named Idris Hollis. United.
Tell me about what started first. It sounds like it's the youth outreach. Was it the youth stuff first, or was it the reentry program?
All youth.
All youth. Okay.
Everything that the youth, the ideas they came up were basic, things that we usually do as youth. Football games, right? Basketball tournaments, talent shows, barbecues.
That's awesome.
So I told the kids, I said, man, this is doable, but guess what? I'm not going to do it. We're going to do it. And I need your help to help plan to organize. Plan, plot, and organize. And they was with it. So all the kids who was at war with each other united together. And they started organizing and planning events at Balboa to help stop the violence. And it worked.
So it's a grassroots organization.
100,
so
man.
much like a big charity thing. This was like the hood taking care of the hood.
Man, there was no money involved. All it was love. And the people who wanted to help stop the violence. Because at Balboa, nobody was learning. Anybody who was involved in a fight or in a nationality. Because it originally started with blacks and Filipinos.
Okay.
Right? And so anybody who was black or Filipino at that time after the first initial fight was getting jumped. They had nothing to do with the fight. They were just Filipino or black. So it was hard to learn when you would go to school because you had to watch your back. And then the Samoans and the Latinos got together and they fought against the blacks. So we used the same formula that we did with the blacks and Filipinos. Now you had the Samoans and the Latinos in the same room with the blacks and the Filipinos. So you had everybody at the table now. And all the same questions came up that I used. What do you guys want to do to help stop the violence? First question was, do you want to stop it? They was with it. They said, yeah, we want to stop. Most people don't want war. They really don't. And so from there, I said, okay, what can we do? And we even talked about what started the fight. You know what I mean? And it was over some stuff that wasn't even that serious. And so, once we made sense out of how the fight started, and you guys willing to die for this, y'all willing to go to prison for this, y'all willing to, get kicked out of school and all, they was like, nah, not over that. Because, we broke down the common denominator, what it was, and guess what it was?
What's that?
A a girl.
Of course.
And on top of that, she wasn't even that pretty. So they was like, damn, Rudy. So, you know, everybody seen the commonality that we had in the same room. Everybody came from the same struggle, right? Everybody came from the same poverty. Everybody had the same issues. So they seen that there was more in common than they wasn't. And they started to, man, work together, organizing these basketball tournaments at school at lunchtime. We started organizing flag football games. All the kids who they thought, man, was the throwaways. They were geniuses, guys and girls. Then you started getting help from different community-based clubs on the campus, like the peer resource programs, right? The Latino club, the African American club. All them started getting involved in helping us shape the sound. Then administration got involved. You know what I mean? And the police fell back. They was like, okay, we won't even do nothing as long as you guys can solve it yourself. So the police assisted the situation. It started working, man. And that's where they came up with the name. They put on the board, United Players. Playaz.
And I've read It Takes the Hood to Save the Hood.
That's right. Well, that came a little later. Our first shirts that came out with straight players, not no haters. The kids came up with that. Straight players, not no haters.
I love it.
It Takes the Hood to Save the Hood probably came in 2005, so that was like 11 years later. And there was a reason why that came out.
And then, so we're coming up on the 28th year anniversary?
Actually, man, 27-year anniversary.
27.
Today is October the 12th, right?
Yeah, it is.
October the 8th, 1994 was the big fight. So this is 27 years later.
Wow.
That this grassroots organization started from the people. And guess what? It's still ran by the people.
And that's what I was going to ask. What is the appeal nowadays? It's been 27 years since it initially popped out. What are the new kids thirsty? What do they want to keep coming back?
I think, you know, what makes it the way it is that we give the people the power to make the decisions of what we do. We turn from being a club to being an organization. It's different. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It was a club, it was a program, and then it went to being an organization. Now, I moved back. So that Balboa is in District 11 in San Francisco. We got like 11, 12 districts.
This one right here is
District 6. I'm
Six.
born and raised in District 6, South of Market, Tenderloin area. I'm born and raised in it. So in 2005, we started at District 11.
Okay.
I asked the director at the place where I work, Burnham Heights Neighborhood Center, can I take what we started from the people and bring it to my neighborhood, because it was a need. The kids in my neighborhood would tell me, hey, Rudy, how come we don't do what you're doing in the other neighborhood? And they was right. And I would see them in juvenile hall, and they would say that when they was locked up, because they would see me visit all the kids from that district who were locked up. That was a part of what we used to do to help out. And I would see the kids from my own neighborhood in jail. And they would say, hey, man, how can you helping all them out? Rudy, help us out. You from our neighborhood. And I would say, you right. So I asked a blessing for Mauricio Vela. May he rest in peace. He was the director of Burnham Heights Neighborhood Center, District 11, where I would go to Balboa and do the work. And he said, take it. But he told me like a pimp would tell a hoe, you could take the name, but you can't take none of the money. You dig what I'm saying? And I was like, all right, cool. Because at that time, when I was at Burnham, I felt like, man, I was the best hoe there. I was bringing in hella, money because of what we was doing. And so I became the boss. And I moved with what I learned. I took what I learned from 2005, United Players, from 94 to 2005, back to the neighborhood where I'm born and raised. And guess what? During the duration of 2005 to 2009, I got my own physical sponsor, right? I got me a team. And in 2015, I was able to purchase and buy the building that we're doing this interview in now.
Wow, that's incredible.
And so I learned, you know what I mean? And the power goes to the people again. I was just somebody who was there to kind of like put the puzzle together, the glue.
Yeah.
Because everybody was already around. They just needed somebody, man, to make and unite the people.
I follow.
And so that's what I was able to do. Because early in my years, as I came up before I even got involved with UP, I was involved in gangs. You know what I mean? I was a gang banger. I wasn't no gang member. There's a difference. I was active. And so me being somebody who was involved in that lifestyle, I was already knowing how to bring and organize and bring people together. Because some of the best organizers are gangbangers. You dig what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep.
And so I use that same philosophy that I did with UP, and it's the same philosophy. But guess what, Dory? Instead of taking life, we giving life now because I got it. I figured it out. We figured it out.
One last question on the youth before we switch gears to the reentry program you guys got. What is the appeal nowadays? Why are these kids still coming in? Why do they love being here?
I think there's not one answer to that question, but one is because we love them and they know it unconditionally. Whether you're wrong or you're right, we still here to show them we love them. And that doesn't mean when I say love, it's a soft word. Love is tough. Mm-hmm. Love to me is spelled N-O. We're here to tell you the truth. Because not all the kids that come here, they stay. We constantly, no, you can't do that. We challenge them and they leave because, they don't want to tell no. But guess what? We eventually see them later and they come back saying, I understand what you were saying now. Whether they went to jail, we visit them when they locked up and they see we're there for them. Or they go through something in life, some, potholes and obstacles and road bumps, and they come back and say, and they're older and they're wiser, and they say, now I know what you were saying. And they come back. And so that, I believe, is one of the reasons, and another reason is because they know we give them the power to make the decisions of what we do. This place, man, is open to the last, the lost, and the least, baby. We talk to them and teach them about spiritual food. Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. I don't force no religion or no spiritual food on anybody, but I let you know what I believe in, and I will feed you a little every now and then. And it's on you if you want to accept it.
Fair enough.
You dig what I'm saying? Because I don't. To me, it's not about a religion. It's about a relationship.
Now,
For me.
Switching gears a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm dying to hear about the reentry program. I've lived in the neighborhood for over a decade.
Okay.
I've only heard about the gun buyback program. I'm sure there's a lot more to it.
100.
Heard you got some really big heavy hitters involved in supporting it. Stephen Curry.
Yes, sir.
E40, city council members.
Yes,
we
sir.
hear about that?
So hopefully I can answer everything. As far as reentry, right? I'm a reentry cat. You know what I mean? And I think I understand the struggles and I understand the pain that people have when they're incarcerated. Now, I didn't do no life sentence like a lot of these guys who have did. You know what I mean? And so, upon returning home, some of these guys, we want to give them the opportunity to be functional and to be accepted back into society, into the community. And you'll realize the transition they have made when they come home and you see through their actions. But they just need the opportunity. And so a lot of these guys who are coming back into society after 20 years, 25 years, 35 years, 40 years, 45 years, 46 years. Them dudes been gone for 46 years.
Yeah.
And they come back, most of their family is gone.
Yeah.
And we give them and embrace them and want them to get involved with what we do. And they get, they see what we're doing and they get involved. And they love it because whether you believe it or not, when you're helping out little kids, you think you're helping them, but they actually helping you. Kids are like medicine, man. So these dudes who been gone, they was loyal to the game. They never snitched. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They never fell out. A lot of these dudes were loyal. They gave their life to the hood and something they believed in, that they thought. But they found out, and later on in life, a lot of it wasn't what they thought it was. So when they come back and they see and the honor that we have here, the integrity of helping and save the community and the people in it, they fall in love with it. Because the kids is the ones who bring magic back to them, bring life to them. I have my guy, Glenn Holden, a.k.a. Bo Rilla, who did 45 years straight, bro. You imagine that. The day he came home, he got out, his brother was being buried. The day he came home. And so when he's at the funeral, people are bugging out. It's like, is that Bo? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it was like a celebration, but at the same time, it was sad because you're burying one of them, but the other one came home. And so this guy ended up not helping us out with reentry, but he started working with the elementary school kids, the littlest kids. And they loved him so much, the kids. And he was loved by the kids, and he loved them so much. To this day, even though, he's still part of our organization, he moved on to do bigger things. He comes and the kids, man, still embrace him, the staff, everybody. Now he has, a place where he's family here. Because Bo was able to bring so much love here and wisdom. Straight up, man. Nice. That's my twin, though, man. He's the Bo-rilla, and I'm the Gorilla Pink. It's my brother. I love that kid.
Could we, thanks so much, man. I hope I'm not taking up too much of your time.
Nah, man, it's good, man.
Could I hear about the gun buyback program?
Sure. So originally, the gun buyback started from a gentleman whose son, his father got murdered and killed in San Francisco. The dude wasn't from San Francisco. He came here on vacation, right? He was shot over there by the TL. The guy was robbed. A 16-year-old robbed him his wallet. After he took his wallet, he shot him, killed him, right? The dude died in a hospital. His son grew up without a dad, but when the son grew up, he wanted to do something to help change the policies of gun violence because his dad got killed. And so instead of waiting for all legislation and red tape, he wanted to do gun buybacks, right? And so he was doing them. He was getting a lot of guns off the streets. He ended up partnering with me because I had resources to make it happen. And so at one point he went back to LA, or he had to do something. He gave me like the green light to continue to do it. And so what I did, I started you got to raise money to do gun buybacks. One of the most
that's right.
contributors of the gun buyback, and a lot of people was like, it was controversial at first. It was like, where you get your money to do that? Right? Was the dispensaries.
No way.
So marijuana stores in San Francisco in District 6 were the first ones to kick in.
Oh, okay.
So the money they gave me, right? There's a lot of dispensaries in this neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
They would give me money, and the money that I would get, right, I would give to the people turning in the gun. No questions asked.
That's what I heard.
But I had to get outreach to do it. So I got with the guys who were reentry, right? The guys who were restorative justice. All these dudes were in prison for murder behind guns. So they did all my outreach. They would go all over the Bay Area, right? Like a month prior to the gun buyback. And we would do the gun buyback during the anniversary of Sandy Hook in December.
That's right. I always saw it in December here, yeah.
So that's why we always do it. It's the anniversary. And so we had the mothers who lost their kids to gun violence, Maddie Scott. We got the SFPD because they had to help out, patrol it, right? We had got the Brady campaign, right? We had Moms Demand Action. We had just people who was help building buildings in this neighborhood, tech people. All of us came together under one umbrella to say, hey, let's end senseless gun violence. Let's get guns off the street. And so the guys would go out, and girls would go out, and youth would do the outreach.
Wow.
The day of the gun buybacks, we'll have it right here in front of the center with all our partners. When the cars pull up, they will be greeted by the community, by mothers who lost their guns, their kids to gun violence, guys who've been shot before. None of the dudes who did the outreach could come here because they were still on parole. They couldn't be around the guns. So people would drop off their guns, no questions asked. The gun range from the SFPD would take the guns, depending on what type of guns it was.
Wow.
The money that I was able to get from the dispensaries, then the mayor helped out, right? I had
Was it Breed at the time or Lee?
it was Mayor Ed Lee originally, and then Mayor Breed helped, supported big time. There was big major rap artists and people who were involved in the rap game, like Empire, right, would give money. There'd be dispensaries who was giving it. And so I would give cash to the people who turned in a gun. No questions that you turned in 10 guns, I give you $1,000 cash.
Wow.
And you just get on.
And you broke it down already a little bit. You have people separated, but I would imagine the nerves are high for someone coming in, bringing in a gun when there's police.
At 100. So I think what made it, because, you know, a lot of the homies is like, man, I would never turn my gun on police there, Rudy. I said, look here, first, you ain't got to turn in your gun. You ain't got to. This is no questions asked policy. You know, 1 in 3 homes got guns in it that are left unlocked and loaded with kids in it. You got mentally ill who's running around with guns, unstable. You got domestic violence. All of them are climbing. I'm not against the Second Amendment, but I am against senseless gun violence. I'm a survivor of gun violence. I know how devastated what one bullet out of what a gun can do. It could destroy this whole damn planet. I can break that down to you later. But, so when the guns come, right? Give me 1 second. Yo, Black.
What's up with you?
Hey, King. Hey, real quick, just so we could be clear, what did we say the amount was for Friday? Because I'm going to cut the checks right now.
I don't know. I said 5, and you said you was gonna give me $1 or 2 more or some shit.
Okay.
I can't really remember.
Okay, I got you, baby. Don't even trip. We at 5. How about 6?
Yeah, that's great. That's good.
Shit. Man, all right, but that's all I needed to know. I look forward to seeing you Friday. And then the event opens at 5. The show starts at 6. We'll probably have you go on around 7.
Be there, rather.
Around 7.
Okay, come around 7.
Around 6:30, 7, you know what I mean? Just so you can see what's going on. And, you know, have all the dignitaries get up there and speak. You see all them. I'm going to have a 49er there. You know what I mean? But as far as you guys come on, what's that?
Like 10, 15 minutes or what?
For you?
Yeah.
Yep, 10 minutes is fine. Keep it simple.
Alright, cool.
You know, do your classics, man. You know how we do it.
Put together a medley and shit of the classics. Maybe do like one song from the new shit, but I got with Jones, and I do all classics and shit.
I'm gonna tell you like this, Black Sea. You Black Sea, man. You can have the mic as long as you motherfucking want.
For sure.
Come on, man. You, man. We got to honor you, player. You dig what I'm saying? And so, man, you know.
I'll leave here. I'll leave Antioch about 6. I'll get out there. Yeah, about like I said about 7, something
Cool.
like that.
Cool. There it is, low one, and I have that for you when I see you.
It's all good.
All right, King. One love.
One love.
So just 2 more
I'm
questions.
sorry.
Cool. No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. So kind of a big question here. I know you're aware of it. I'm not sure if it's too much in your wheelhouse or something you want to address or something the UP is kind of has on their agenda. The unhoused problem here in San Francisco.
Yes, sir.
The fact that we're a wonderful sanctuary city that brings a lot of souls that need help, and then there's a lot of souls that prey on said people. Do you have any thoughts on it? How it's gotten, where it's going, what we can do as citizens, what UP could do, what the city could do?
Well, I think, you know, what can United players do? We're doing it already. You know what I mean? And I know I'm being born and raised in San Francisco. San Francisco has changed a lot. You know, and I think people need to be held accountable for their actions. You know, there shouldn't be, man, people laying out on the sidewalk. There shouldn't be mentally ill people, man, who don't know how to deal with life, be out there. They need mental health services. People need the services. We want to give affordable housing to people, which is cool, but some people, man, don't even know how to live in a house. So we got to get all the right resources, because if you look at San Francisco, we're giving everything to people. So people come from other cities, because, you know, the homeless people or the people who are being served tell their friends who are homeless in other cities, hey, man, come over here, man, it's a meal ticket, brother. Mm-hmm. They giving everything away for free.
What are your thoughts on that?
Man, I mean, to me, there's got to be a balance to it. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's got to be a balance to it. I understand, man, that people need all the essential things they need to survive, which is real. We do need it. But at the same time, man, there's a lot of people out there who's taking advantage of the system. And that needs to be figured. We got to figure that part out. You know what I mean? You're giving, man, and I'm going to keep it honest, man. You got people who do not want to even have to get affordable housing because they're giving everything to them. And what I mean by that is they're putting them in rooms. They giving them, man, pipes. They giving them drugs. They give everything you want. They gonna give it to you. They giving you food. They giving you clothing. All these services. But the people who's taking advantage of that, they need to be held accountable because there's real people who need it. There's families and people who really need it.
Yep.
But the ones who's taking advantage of it, how do we find out they're the ones? Because they're the ones who actually need to get that stuff taken from them and sent back, man, to whatever city they from. Man, I met a dude, I swear to God, he was only 21 years old. He was from another state. And he was laying in front of my center. We're helping him out. And we started talking. And he was like, man, I came to San Francisco because, man, you get everything you want. Where I'm from, man, don't give none of this stuff. So I'm just going to keep taking as much as I can until they stop. And guess what? I said, what? I call my friends. They all come out here. I said, well, where do y'all live? Man, all we do is got a tent. They gave us a tent for free.
The city?
Bruh.
Whoa.
I said, what do you mean? Man, everything we get is free. So I'm thinking, man, how do we deal with situations like this?
Mm-hmm.
Because I understand people need it. But when you're taking advantage of it, that's a different thing. And we have a lot of services in San Francisco where we provide mental health services. We provide therapy. You know what I mean? But some people, guess what? They only use it because they know if they take that, they get all things they need. But they really are not trying to help themselves.
And I also think it's a fair question. How much are we going to give before our kids are getting affected by it, before our sidewalks?
No, they're already affected by it, brother.
Right?
You're literally having to walk around and jump over people on a sidewalk. Because these people, I swear to God, man, watch this, man. This is some real stuff. And I know people ain't going to accept this the right way. You got people who are out there who are homeless. They ask for money. You know, can I get some change? You give them $1. They'll complain.
Yeah.
Like, man, that's all you going to give me? Like, what? $1? Man, give me 5. I'm like, hold on, bro. I ain't never seen that before. Or, I swear to God, I've seen this happen. We'll come and give you food, and they be like, man, at least warm this up for me. They ask me, I'll be like, wait a minute, bro, you don't want this food? They'll be like, man, I don't want this cold food. They're like, I swear to God, I ain't never seen that before. So they feel entitled now. Bakers can't be choosy, but these cats out here is a whole different level. It's like how you treat your kids. If you give them everything, right, but you don't give them the right things they need to heal them or to fix them, you're not going to fix the problem. You're just enabling it. And so if our city is just continue to give them all the stuff that you think they need, but they're not getting helped on the inside,
Yep.
because we provide those services, but some people, they don't take advantage of them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're going to have a serious problem. The South of Market and the Tenon line and other parts of San Francisco have never been like this.
Ever. 94, all,
Look at all these people who's dying, man, overdosing, man, on
Right.
fentanyl.
right?
Right?
Now, Urban Alchemy guys, they got to freaking have the Norcans on them. I'm a citizen here.
Man, I got it here. I save people from the Narcan. Young dudes.
Yep.
And they pop up. And guess what?
They would go right back to it.
Some of them get mad. You wake them up, they like, man, I was in a good high. Damn, you messed me up, bro. I'm like, damn, I thought you was dead, bro. And, you know, they'll get upset because you wake up. And then you're right. They don't even want to go to the hospital.
Oh, no.
They get up and they go right
I
back
see it
to
all
it.
the time. On Minna right here, the ambulance pulls
That's
up.
where I live.
Yeah.
Let me use the restroom.
You good, bro. You good.
Ain't that crazy?
Yep. Yep. It was great, man. I think one more question and we're good.
All right. I'm just being honest.
No, hey, dude, I'm right there with you. Yeah, my man.
I feel like honestly though, there's gotta be a way of us monitoring that shit. And I think, honestly, the city is figuring that they're doing their best because they want to help. But I think sometimes the services are going to the wrong people. Even though, the appearance of the person, you could tell they need help. But the services that we're giving are the wrong services because you're enabling them.
Yep.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yep.
And the police, they're frustrated and tired of it because when they arrest people, they got to do the paperwork. But the people are right back out. Before the police can finish their paperwork, they go back to the block. And those same people they arrested are still out there.
This is a great extra question I'm going to ask you if you don't mind me. I work in the Tenderloin. So
Oh,
I'm walking
man.
down High Street one day, and there's just so much open drug dealing happening right in front of me. There's a cop right across the street. Now I kind of know the deal, right? What's the point? What's the? But it literally couldn't even cross the street. I had to move, my shoulders to get around people. I go up to him and I'm like, hey, listen, man, it ain't none of my business, but when it's that apparent and that open, is there nothing that can be done even to clear the sidewalk? He respectfully chuckles. He says, nah, man, you kidding me, dude? It's basically decriminalized. If I catch him, I gotta basically let him go. I'm like, why don't we spread it around then? Why's it gotta be so infested here in the Tenderloin? Why don't we take him to the 941
Yeah.
Take him to Baker Beach. He's like, that would be considered kidnapping, man. So it's such a convoluted problem that I don't even know where to start, right? But let's switch gears. I think we can come back to that one. Final question here. What can the Soma neighborhood, San Francisco in general, anybody who sees this video, do to help United Players, to help organizations like this keep doing what they're doing and organically point San Francisco in the right direction?
So I will say this. Our motto is it takes the hood to say the hood. It doesn't mean you got to be from the hood to help support and help out. All it means is that love will conquer all hate. And so there's a lot of different things that people can do. There's some who can come here and volunteer. There's some people here who could provide and support our activities and our mission that we do. Some people could donate. There's so many different things that you do to help us support us continue to keep doing what we're doing. And I feel like what we're doing, we got like the blueprint of what makes it happen. During the pandemic, we ran programming for 19 months, still without having to close down. We had kids, we figured it out, right? We took care of the hood, we fed the seniors, we fed the kids, we fed families that wasn't able to come out,
Yeah.
rightfully so. But we figured out our team. And we came together as a community, all different community-based organizations came together and figured out how to provide all the essential things that people needed for them to survive during a pandemic. And so how do you help out? You get involved? You continue in none of those ways. Come help us when we have an event. Come help out if you got some wisdom to share with the kids. Come help out when we got to clean up, when we go to a peace march or a rally. Donate to us. You may not be someone who could come on the front lines with us, but donate to our organization because your money that you donate will go to a good, worthy cause.
And how do they go about doing that?
Man, shoot. Come down here. Come to 1038 Howard Street or go on our website, unitedplayers.org. We got a donation button. You feel me? And I promise you, all proceeds go to a worthy cause, baby.
Nice.
Dig what I'm saying?
Nice.
Straight up and down.
Tell us about Friday. Not sure if
And it's a
gonna be up by
tax
then.
write-off.
Yeah.
Good.
Tell us about Friday. Not sure if it's going to be up by then, but 27th
Yeah.
anniversary.
So our this Friday coming up is our 27-year anniversary of us providing services and resources for the people. That's what it is. And we're just showing and thanking people for them being a part of our organization for 27 years.
Is this event on Friday open to the public?
It's this Friday. It's private.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We just don't want nobody coming because not everybody's players. We don't want nobody come there and a lot of people, men, don't want to see people win. You know what I mean? We lasted 27 years.
I'll be out there to cover it, man.
Come on, man. And that's what we need. We need people to come and not only capture the moment, but show what we do.
And is the gun buyback happening in this December?
Absolutely. We're gonna do it again.
All
It's
right,
gonna
I'll be
be in December, Sandy Hook weekend, which I believe is December the 10th, 11th. But we're organizing after this 27-year anniversary. We're gonna get back together and get all those partners together, and we're gonna plan again. We do it annually, You know, that's one of our big highlights. You know, to get guns off the street so they don't harm or kill anybody. You know what I mean?
Excellent.
And we just want to make sure that people are safe. You know what I mean?
I think we're good, Rudy. Is there anything else you want to say?
I just want to say thank you, you know, my brother Dario for coming through and interviewing and capturing the moment. I want you to see what we do versus what I tell you.
Yep.
I got a phenomenal staff. You know, we have collaborations with an organization called West Bay, the oldest Filipino organization in the West Coast, 53 years, led by amazing director Carla Laurel. That's her right there. She's the director.
And I'm going to be all over UP. Is there any other organizations you think I should go and
Right there, West Bay.
Yeah? West Bay?
West Bay, they're the oldest Filipino organization in the West Coast.
Perfect.
And they're from this neighborhood. But don't wait till something happens or you know to get involved in the movement. Don't wait for somebody you love or somebody you care about to get hurt or go to jail or get killed. To say, damn, I want to be a part of the solution to help change the conditions of our hood. Get involved now. There's many different ways you can do it. But you got to go ahead and take that first step first to get involved.